Hello learners, I welcome you all to the second lecture of the course on International Investment Law and the Environment. So in the first lecture, we discussed about the concept of or in what context we're using the phrase International Investment Law. So we will now move ahead and then look at the question of whether foreign investment and environment, is it a clash or is it a coexistence, conflict or coexistence? That is going to be the focus of the second lecture of the course. So in the second lecture, if we look at primarily, I want to highlight firstly how there could be a possibility of conflict. That is what we look in the first segment. Then we will move into the second segment where we will look at what are the initiatives that have been taken to fill the gap between the concept of foreign investment and the way the protection of environment is done within the field of international investment law. So the third segment we will look at the contemporary phase where the interaction between environmental principles within the field of international law. So that we will examine the contemporary phase, and we will come to our own decision whether foreign investment and environment, is it a conflict or does it coexist, right? So this is the structure of the second lecture. So without any further ado, let me dive into the topic of what is the conflict between foreign investment and the concept of environment. There are many BITs that the countries have signed, and under the BITs many protections have been given to the investor and investment. If the host state, while exercising its sovereign power to take any measures for regulating the foreign investment, especially with an objective of protecting the environment, sometimes it may create an adverse effect, especially in the context of monetary terms, on the foreign investment. So some sort of an adversary monetary consequence may be faced by the investor. So in such cases, the investor may bring a claim under the bilateral investment treaty by stating that the regulatory environmental measure taken by the host state is violative of certain provisions of the BIT. It may be protection against expropriation, it may be fair and equitable treatment, it may be under any of the non-discriminatory provisions like MFN or national treatment. So when the investor invokes the BIT to sort of seek compensation from the host state for the regulatory environmental measures taken by the host state, so there is some sort of a dichotomy that comes into the picture. I mean, when the states sign the bilateral investment treaties, there is a push for liberalizing its economy. There is a push for accepting foreign direct investment. So that is there on the one side. But when these cases are decided, when the protections are given to investors under a bilateral investment treaty, how does the regulation of foreign investment goes? So on the other side, we see regulation of foreign investment for some public policy objectives, including protecting the environment. So there is a dichotomy that comes into picture. UNCTAD has stated that when a regulatory measure taken by the host state in furtherance of a public objective gets challenged, it puts a economic burden on the part of host state, procedural burden on the part of the host state, and this is especially severe if the host state is a least developed country or a developing country. This is what UNCTAD had found. And UNCTAD has also found that there is blurring of line between protecting the investment from political changes and from unnecessary interference to infringement into the state's power for enacting public welfare regulatory measures. So that blurring of line is also pointed by UNCTAD. So there is a dichotomy that comes into picture. Increasingly, environmental regulatory measures are being challenged. It's not that I am trying to, make foreign investment a villain, because the other side is also true. What is the other side? Foreign investment may be necessary or it may raise the environmental standards. Foreign investment may be necessary for the protection of the environment. It may also contribute to raising the environmental standards in the host state. If there is a foreign investment into the host state, there is a possibility of transfer of green technology, or sometimes the MNCs who are establishing a subsidiary in the host state may follow the environmental standards that exist back in their home state and therefore raising the environmental standards in the host state. Right, so this is something that has been pointed out by certain scholars, including Professor Skill, that foreign investment may in fact raise the environmental standards in the host state, especially so if the MNCs follow the same standards as that of their home state. Then if that is a developed country with the robust environmental standards, then even if the host state does not legislatively impose certain obligations with regard to environment, these practices will still be followed. So therefore, there is a overall, if you look at it, there is a positive result in the context of protecting the environment. So that is also possible. So it's not that foreign investment is a villain when it comes to the protection of the environment, whereas they may even contribute to protecting the environment or raising the environmental standards in the host state. In fact, if you look at the Sustainable Development Goals of 2015, it states that there's a report that states that there's a requirement of 2.5 trillion US dollars funding that is required, that is needed in developing countries in order to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. But all of a sudden we faced a COVID pandemic. Post the COVID pandemic, the financing gap increased to 4.3 trillion as per the World Investment Report of 2022. So where will the developing countries get such a huge amount for implementing Sustainable Development Goals? That can come from FDI. FDI becomes a very important source for developing countries to achieve Sustainable Development Goals as well. I mean, we do know on the one hand, this video is about trying to tell you about the conflict that exists. On the one hand, you feel that when environmental regulatory measures are being challenged in ISDS, there is a perception that the regulatory space or the policy space of the host state is shrinking, right? That perception is there because the the host state has voluntarily signed a bilateral investment treaty, and it could be perceived as a limitation to exercise of its sovereign right to take regulatory measures for the protection of environment. But on the other side, we do see the necessity for foreign direct investment in order to contribute to practices that will raise the environmental standards or that will allow the possibility of transfer of green technology as well. So this is the class that I wanted to highlight in the first segment. In the next segment, we will look at certain initiatives that have been taken in order to bridge the gap between foreign investment and the environment. And then subsequently, we will have our own analysis in the last segment, which will be the third segment for this particular lecture. Thank you.